Welcome to the WRAP, the Warrnambool District Soccer League Match Report, episode number 3, Simo.
Number 3, we're still going, haven't been pulled off yet.
No, we haven't, and we're very happy to report that it's been an interesting adventure so far. Episode 3, we've had nearly 600 views so far in the whole 2 episodes that we've done so far. We're very happy with that, and we're willing to keep going with this scenario for all the soccer fans in Warrnambool and the district, so it's good to go.
Spread the word.
Spread the word. First of all, this particular round had the introduction of the junior WDSL, the under-15 competition, which was fantastic. Simo, we had games here at Harris Street Reserve and also at Scotts Creek. Scotts Creek were hosting their first match for both the juniors and the senior sides over in Scotts Creek, which, if you don't know where it is in between Timboon and Copton. So it's great that Warrnambool has a presence in the league, and also that there's soccer in that side of the district. So it was fantastic for that. But also there was soccer here at Harris Street, with Hamilton bringing the under-15 team down, and from the reports that I got from both games, it was a fantastic atmosphere. The kids really enjoyed themselves, and good soccer was played for both games. I'll just quickly go through the scores in that one. So in the first game at Harris Street, the under-15s Jetty Flat Rangers team hosted the under-15s Hamilton Raiders team, and in that game the score ended up as a 3-3 all draw, Simo, and all the goals were scored in the first half. So it was a very tight game. Obviously 6 goals scored in the first half, and then the second half they couldn't be separated. So congratulations to the kids who were playing in that game. In the second game, which was at Scotts Creek, under-15 Marais Stingrays visited Scotts Creek to meet the under-15 Warrnambool Lions team. The Lions, they're a new club this season, and it was fantastic to see that their junior development is started, and lots of little kids there, very keen and very happy to be out there playing on the big pitch. It was great. From the reports that I got there, I was at the game coaching the Stingrays teams, but the little kids came and shook my hands, and they were awesome. They can't wait till next week. So certainly the scoreline was a little bit one-sided, but in saying that, they gave it a good go. The game side was the first year they've been playing against opposition besides their own club. So the Stingrays won that one 7-1, Simo, with 3 goals scored in the first half by the Stingrays, and then there was another 4 in the second half. But the Lions got one back, and it was good to see the mums and dads there beeping their horns. That's it for the junior wrap, but hopefully we'll have some footage in the next few weeks.
Absolutely. Already having people ask, when we're going to see some under-15s. Well, it won't be too far away, and we'll bring it to you as soon as we have.
We'll hopefully have some footage of the league starting very soon.
Absolutely. Okay,
on to the seniors, WDSL. Well, what can I say, Simo? If you're a goalkeeper, it wasn't a week for you, to even tell you that.
No, absolutely not. No, 31 goals in over 3 games. So we'll go over it as to who scored what. But you're absolutely right, Carlos. It was a bad day in the office for keepers. Yes,
but there was another Friday night game. Simo, I wasn't here, so I don't know what really happened except for what I was told. So, but everything was ready for Deakin Dragons to host the Hamilton Raiders here at Harris Street.
Well, while I would love to say that this was an evenly contested match, unfortunately it wasn't. Any further from the truth.
We'll just quickly go through the starting lineup first of all from both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting lineup, we'll go with we'll start with the home team being the Deakin Dragons. We had Campbell Scotts starting in goal. The defensive quartet made up of Michael Dendall, Caden Haywood, Scott Helston, and Blake Gray. Midfield, 5 in the midfield with Aidan Lyon, Elijah Kettle, Bradley Adams, Joel Barker, with Lara Angarano playing as the defensive midfielder. And a lone striker with Jacob Sargent, the 5-goal hero from last week, starting up front alone. Subs for the Dragons, we had Nathan Allott, Connor Bellman, Alison Cope and Paddy Houlihan. Chris Bellman unavailable for this Hamilton, Ralph Barrett starting goals, and we had 3 in the back with Anthony Hilton, Matthew Parfray and James Taylor. The midfield consisting with Harrison Hall, Peter Hopkinson, Tristan Pickering, Callum Renfrey, Malcolm Gruen playing as an attacking midfielder, and 2 up front with Jordan Neese and Arabadi McCarthy up front, with 2 subs, Dalitso Mwali and Anthony McFarlane.
So this lineup from the Raiders looks like a very young side. There are a couple of kids there from the last year's under 15 competition in Dalitso and Aramis. That's how you say his name. Spelled a little bit different than that, but and Callum Renfrey, another one from the play in the 15 last year. So congratulations, boys, stepping up to the big stage, and they stepped up from what I hear.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us all about it.
Well, I myself had prior commitments. I wasn't able to get there till about half time. But speaking with Tim White of the Thunderhawks, who was there in the capacity of an official linesman. He put it simply that it's basically the weather really helped Hamilton. Hamilton were organised and they were ready to attack, and that's something that really threw Deakin into the far end of the swimming pool. They just they were basically playing a chasing game. They were pushing really hard in the first half as well, it was Deakin, but because of that, it really ran them tired, and by the time we got to half time, the scoreline will show, I think they scored about 7 or 8 goals in the first half.
Yeah.
And by the time that play on started in the second half, the wind had died down, there was no more wind advantage, the ground was nice and dry as well, and to put it simply, Deakin just ran out of legs, unfortunately, and Hamilton, being the quick side that they are, were able to take advantage of that, and even watching myself, some of the Deakin players just looked a little bit flat, perhaps a little deflated, and perhaps rightly so, in that they were trailing by such a big margin. Heads will start dropping, confidence will lower. But with that said, Campbell Scott played a pretty solid game, conceding 12 goals, not entirely his fault. I think it comes down to a team effort, and not wanting to criticise Deakin, I think I'll reiterate that they know they played a pretty poor game. But with that said, the Hamilton Raiders just turned up and played some magic football in their counter-attack.
Sometimes when you get the advantage of the weather and you're ready to go, that's when all the trouble starts. And as soon as it started getting ahead, and the Dragons were trying really hard to get out of the defensive half, the wind, the rain, and Friday night. That's what Friday night football is all about. That's why it's introduced in the league, to add that extra element. And every team certainly will be playing at night over the winter months as well, which adds another element to the league, which is something that we wanted to have over some of the other leagues that sort of play around locally in the region, in Victoria. So, but in saying that, the Dragons, I heard a lot of comments from the video tube that, hey, Carlos, you said that we hadn't won games for so long, and I got the messages, boys. Yes, you did win 3 out of your last 6. Last year, your last game was a win for you guys, which has certainly helped. Didn't quite make the knockout round in the 4th. You ended up equal 4th. Goal difference let you down, and you had a win sort of probably 4 weeks prior to that, before last week's win. So apologies to the Deakin Dragons and saying that they hadn't won for a while, but in the same token, commiserations for this week.
To their credit, they were able to catch the Hamilton team offside quite a few times, so they really are implementing that offside trap very well. Other notes that I made here. The goals that Hamilton made were from counter-attacks, and it was just poor marking by the Dragons, and I think that's just led to tired legs that really sort of let them down. Campbell Scott Warrnambool picked up a bit of a knock to the ankle in the last few minutes of that game, and he's a key player that they want to hold on to as long as they can. So hopefully he'll be back in between the sticks in the next upcoming round.
Okay, fantastic. All right, thanks, Simo. The next match that we'll report on was a 1:30 kickoff game over at Scotts Creek between Merray Stingrays, the visiting team, and Warrnambool Lions. The Lions up to this point haven't had a win, so fingers crossed that they're looking for something to get at home, and it was something against my team, so we certainly weren't going to let that happen. Starting lineup for that match for the Lions, we had Dan Boyle in goals, with Damien Evans as a right back, Louis Guy playing that sweeper role with Mick Merrick just in front of him in the central defence. Jared Linehan was on the left side of defence. In the midfield, Sam Alexander and Matt Boyle took charge of the middle there, with young James Pozza on the right wing and Johnson Matthew on the left wing. Up front, they had two youngsters, Henry Moyle, the hero from Henry Moyle, the Warrnambool Lions goal scorer, who's scored a couple of goals already this season, and Liam Johnson, young fellow, very quick in the attack. In the subs, they had Ash Lola and Seb Hume just coming off playing under 15s that morning. For the Stingrays, Declan Irvine in goals with Lewis Jones on the right back. Alex Sheedy and Nigel Gray took care of the central defence duties this game, with myself playing as a left back, Carlos Del Rio on the left back, which that meant we pushed Tolga Merrick into the central midfield role with Captain Michael Mills. We had Austin Del Rio on the right wing, James Kina on the left wing. Up front, we had the big fella Engen Torun and young Sam Blackburn pushing up to give us that extra youth and speed in the forward line, with our subs Daniel Busadlo and Ish Rupanga.
And just looking at those lineups, I mean, they look like very solid lineups, especially that midfield for your guys. I mean, that's a very. I mean, you got Austin and Kina up on the wings, and you've just got such a solid midfield with Millsy and Tolga.
Yeah.
Dying to hear what happened.
Well, listen, it was a very good game. My boys did extremely well. First half, we were dominating. There was goals from Michael Mills and Engen Torun in the first half.
Yep.
Mick's goal came in the 25th minute. Mark. At that point, the Lions didn't look like they were out of it, but most of the play was in their defensive part of the ground. My boys felt really confident. We were trying to get the momentum happening again after the loss the week before, and then Engen scored a magnificent shot on the run, peeling to the left hand side and shooting it with his right outside of the foot. It went top right hand corner. To just before the break on the 44th minute, to give the Stingrays a 2-0 lead. I reckon we should have had a lot more. We did have more shots on target, but in saying that, the Lions actually had quite a few shots on target, and young Declan Irvine stepped up this year for this game after last week's.
Yeah.
He was a bit down on himself last week, but we did a little bit of training midweek, and he came up, he was rushing to the ball and beating it. He played a solid first half. We were very happy, but I knew that the Lions would come up. They always changed something on the second half of the show. They pushed Louis Guy up front. They pushed Matty Boyle in a more of attacking midfield role for a little while, and Mick Merrick was solid in the back line. He actually took Austin out. So pretty close to the start of the game, Austin came up with start marks on his leg and sore foot. Sure, it was accidental, but we lost one of our players early on, and the momentum sort of started happening for the Lions, and did it happen to them? 3 set pieces, 3 goals. 3 set pieces, 3 set goals. My boys were bitterly disappointed to let those 3 goals in. Especially with the fouls that they were called. 2 of them were because we weren't working together as a team, not communicating. one of them, obviously, the shot from Matty Boyle, from Matty Boyle's, which was the first goal, which came on the 60th minute, unleashed, and Declan Irvine got his fingertips to the ball and hit the crossbar. It's bounced off, and 3 attacking players from the line were just lining up, beautiful to put it away. So the first, Sebastian Hume got to that goal, to the ball first and scored that goal. Beautiful goal by Seb, well done. But 5 minutes later, they did it again. This time, Willie Guy was at the right place at the right time when, again, Matt Boyle unleashed a free kick from pretty close to the halfway line. And this time we had our players in the box, but unfortunately a mix-up between a goalkeeper and one of my defenders. Basically kicked the ball out of his own keeper's hands, and the ball just spilled nicely for Louis to just say, thank you very much, it's my birthday, here's a present for you, Louis. So, 2-2 at that time.
Jeez.
4 minutes later, 69th minute, Dan Boyle. How did Dan Boyle get it wrong? He's here recorded as scoring, so I'm better double check that with the referee. But yeah, Dan Boyle scores a goal. Just trying to figure out how that happened, but I'm sure. I think that there might have been Henry Boyle who scored that goal. Might be in the wrong sheet. I'll just call it that. But I'm pretty sure it was Henry. Again, attacking move, 1-on-1. Actually this one they were able to break a little bit into the box, and then just didn't get there in time. So 3-2 down. 69th minute, and the Stingrays heads were dropping for sure, but we came back. We got awarded a penalty in the 79th minute, which England took and placed it perfectly to make it a 3-3 game with 10 minutes to go. And then it couldn't beat anyone's game. Both teams were now looking for something to get out of it, but it ended up in a 3-3 draw, giving the Lions the first points of the season. And keeping a 1-1-1 for the Stingrays, a win, a loss, and a draw so far in the league. So that was that particular game. Then there was a game here at Harris Street at 3 o'clock between Jetty Rangers, who was sitting nicely on top with 2 wins from 2 starts, and against the Thunderhawks, who last week came back from Hamilton. And obviously we're looking to redeem something from that, but it didn't quite happen. We got the highlights from the game. We'll go for a little while later.
We'll go for the starting lineup if we may.
Yes.
So starting with the Thunderhawks, we had Corey Grapperton in goals. Along the back there, Keith Russell, Nick Van Garden, David Yates, Nick Johnson. The midfield consisting of Rita Houston, Gil Melba, Catherine Holman, Lincoln Warren, Dilly Dan Sedgley and Tim White up front, with Mark Hawkins and Hartley Russell on the bench. Jetty Rangers, James Penny coming back into that side. The back 4, Rob Bevan, Angelino Van Den Buvel, John Miles, and John McMillan playing as the sweeper. Aiden Little, Mike Romans, Jason Sutton and Michael Johns in the midfield, and Lee Hunter, Stevie Shields up front with Tom Southall and Victor Cameron on the bench.
Yeah, very strong lineup there from the Rangers. The Rangers have obviously got experience, youth, and looks like a bit of strength as well, with big fellas like John Miles coming into the side. The quicks with Stevie Shields and Michael Romans.
Rob Bevan's pretty handy as well.
Rob Bevan, and I see that Ellen Wines had to sit this one down for injury.
Yeah, a couple of outs. Ellen Wines, the captain, being one of them, just complaining of a bit of hip soreness, and as you would have saw last week, Stephen McDonald out indefinitely due to that shoulder injury, and myself just sitting this one out, letting Big James Penny back in, just keeping the gloves warm for him.
For the Thunderhawks, they had a couple of away as well, but I'm not sure. They did, from reports, they didn't suffer any injuries last week, so maybe just unavailabilities. But the game started with Chris Bellman refereeing his first game this season. Got things running underway, and we're just going through the highlights of the game. There was plenty of footage because there were plenty of goals. Plenty of goals in this game as well. In fact, there were 13 goals scored in this game as well.
Yes, 13 goals. It's, again, you probably would have done the math. It was a pretty tight game with Maori and Crankamite.
Just looking at some of the footage here, the Thunderhawks actually moved the ball around quite well. They had the ball, they had possession, and moving it from left to right, taking it to the Rangers. But whenever they lost the ball up front, here's one kick to the midfield player. The midfield player sets it up, sends it long for the attacker. The attacker goes around the player. 1, 2, 3, shot, goal. And Michael Romans just ran the whole half of the pitch for the first goal. Again, that was from a ball that the Thunderhawks had in the attacking third.
Yeah.
So that should have probably started ringing alarms for them, because 1-0 down. This was scored in the 4th minute, I believe. So Michael Romans there capping his first goal for the season, coming back from Scotland after playing for the Wolves in the Mirabella Cup earlier in the season. We've got the team sheets here. Listen, the game I thought it was solid. Big bodies from both teams.
Yeah.
You had Nick Johnson, big Nick Van Den Wingard in there at the back. Gill, very strong on the ball when he's got it at his feet.
Yeah.
Doesn't do a lot of running, but when he needs to do it, he has it there. We had the attacking lineup with Timmy White and young Stan, the man up there, just waiting to do their runs and do their things. So he's a good play from the Hawks here, and he gets fouled. Obviously, he was setting up the pace for the game.
Yeah,
a few.
There was going to be a sign of things to come. It was a very fairly physical match-up, even a yellow card being.
Yeah, there was a yellow card sort of later in the game in the second half. We'll talk about that one, but there were plenty of stoppages that Chris Bellman so correctly called for stoppage of players. Again, the Rangers here again in an attacking position from a corner this time, and still making Corey Gravington work hard in his goals. Keith Russell played a solid game in the back line, I think.
Well, yeah, making good effort to double up, because he did play the under-15s fixture at Harris Street earlier that day.
Yeah, we give juniors a chance to play both seniors and juniors, but we've always said that they need to concentrate on the juniors. We need our juniors to contribute to the junior side of soccer, and hopefully these boys recognise that we're giving them the opportunity to play at this level, because they have to step up in the junior space. And Dave Yates, captain of the side, played a solid game, I thought. Really, he was always there all the time. Anything that was happening in the fence.
Fun position to try and help out his team to get some sort of attacking motion going.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, the interesting thing, and there was an overhead kick by Mike Romans, which had he gone in, would have made the classics.
Yeah.
In the local paper as well, we've seen that one. But again, Stevie Shields gets a run here, but unfortunately he stuffs his shot up.
Yeah.
But there wasn't too many that he stuffed up in this game after this.
No, it's just the marking bottle balls, I think, was probably lacking a little bit.
Yep.
It was just the Rangers counter-attack. I mean, you've got quick legs, you've got Stevie Shields. If you can send the ball to him and let him go for a run, you're gonna have a hard time trying.
But they had a couple of quicks in this game too, with Jason Sutton scoring over here again from a running play, from again running into. It wasn't a depleted back line, but obviously the Hawks were attacking from a line and not coming back to cover the man. Corey did good to get down on that one for that save. Very brave. Now, this is the other guy who makes a difference, and you'll see in a minute, but big Lee Hunter. What can you do when you got balls in the air? Have a look at this goal here. This is a fantastic goal. Stevie Shields sets it up nicely for the big fella who controls it first touch and boom, puts it away.
You're going to have a hard time stopping
it. If you don't mark Lee tightly, you don't have to be big to mark him, because I've marked him plenty of times and brought him down, but you have to stay with him, because he's a class player. By this stage, I think it was 3-0. 3-0, and young Hartley Russell goes down with a kick somewhere. And let everyone know what it was. Yeah, but it was good sportsmanship here. Keeper was staying on the way, but Lee Hunter gives the ball back to the keeper. Good sportsmanship for the replay of the game, and gets things going one more time. Getting in here, trying to find something. Who's there? Oh yeah, there's a foul. And a shot. Stevie Shield should have had this, I reckon, had he hit it first time. And look at that, Lee Hunter stand there for a header. What is this? Hits it over the bar. That was one of the easiest goals we've got, actually. There's another foul for your team happening here, Tim. And a chance for Tim White here, throws it across, but Johnny McMillan just sticks a leg out at the last moment.
Johnny!
Johnny's here. We got a live audience today, guys, so they're all here watching the show. Rob Bevan, what can I say? Solid. The defence was solid for Johnny.
Yeah, the back four, it's probably one of the best displays I've seen from the Rangers in terms of defence. They didn't let a single goal through in the first half. Johnny McMillan. Sorting it all out. John Miles.
Here's another header from the big fella, Lee Hunter from the corner. But yeah, the back line, I mean, he reads experience all the way along. Rob Bevan, the new guy, played a solid game. John McMillan, Angelino, Van der Heusen, and Big John Miles, they're holding up. They didn't let anything through. And it wasn't because, they're just experienced guys. These guys know exactly where to be, and they did.
Yeah, kept James Penny very quiet, but
you see James Penny in a couple of the reels in the minute. In the second half was a little bit more. The Hawks came back in the second half to make sure they had a few more shots on goals. But one of the things, see you later, boys. One of the things that in the second half that we saw was more of shots on target from the Thunderhawks, and I guess the difference this time around was James Penny. James Penny.
Yeah, the target, the shots were certainly, they were starting to find the forward half were the Thunderhawks, and they were starting to press and make changes. Yet when they were coming close, James Penny was in control, and he was coming out, meeting that ball, or organising his defence.
Here's a shot from Big Dan the man. I believe Tim White was concussed at this point in time, but he was on the field, so obviously he was feeling enough to sort of have a go, but after the game he wasn't feeling too well with for Timmy, but he, as you can see here, more attacking play from the Hawks. One pass from the defence to the midfield, to the attacking player, and there we trouble again the Hawks. Look at this.
It's just a lack of marking, as you can see.
Lack of marking, and a good save there by Jess Corey, and they nearly let that one through with Mark Hawkins coming in the second half to cut that goal out. But was it enough? I don't think so. They were 4-0 down. This is a little bit better, sending the ball forward, but Penny's there all the time. And look at that release. Finds his player. Mike John's there. Although Mike John's, you gotta stop wearing those leotards, mate. It's not ballet. The referee will call you up for not wearing the correct uniforms. We've been telling the refs. Good save there by Corey. Gets his fingertip, pushes it over the bar for a corner, and then here's another goal, I believe, for the Raiders. Good interplay here in the midfield by the Hawks. We've still got the ball. We're moving the ball around. Possession. There we go. Mick Gill's just bamboozled Lee. But they got 6 players in front now and 3 at the back. And here comes that was good. They got the Hawks got some of the position back there. But Tommy Sallow, look at this shot. Ooh, on target, but Corey was just there.
Just acclimated.
That's right, but that was a brilliant shot too. Kept it. It was on target from distance. Here's the goal. Unfortunately, the Hawks lose it in their half for the first time, and
marked on the right, but things are negative.
That's right, boys. You gotta mark on both sides all the time. So that's what happens. Another free kick to the Thunder Hawks. Big Dan's about to whip it in. What happens? There's something. Come on, nothing. Didn't work out. And the count. This is the same counter play, by the way, from that particular clearance, and Michael Romans lines it up. So again, the quick attacks punish the Hawks.
Yeah, and it was just the poor marking as well by Thunderhawks that really let them down.
So I think at this stage we're at.
I think it was about 8, 9.
There was 4 goals scored in the first half, and there was 9 in the second half, with 8 second half goals to the Rangers. Here's another one. Aidan Little got on the score sheet, young fella too, coming in from meeting it the first time to put him under pressure. So multiple goal scorers for them. Just to read the score as well, while the highs are going on, because we already know the result.
Yeah, it's a foregone conclusion with the result. So we have Mike Romans with 4 goals. Lee Hunter joined the party with a hat-trick as well with 3. 2 goals each to Steve Shields and to Jason Sutton and Aidan Little getting on the party as well for the goal. I don't think we've got to it yet.
But it's just about to happen now. This is the interesting scenario here.
Yeah.
It's not this one, but as you can see that Rob's very committed and he didn't get the play at that time.
Yeah.
So he better watch himself in when there was any lunging tackles like that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting scenario. Actually, here's another goal from a free kick. Big Lee Hunter gets his head in there and puts it away.
I think he made it number 3, I think, at that
point as well. For Lee, was it his third?
It was his second or third.
There's a number of attacking options that Jetty Flat have this year.
I mean, you just look at it here, there's no one marking that point. They were able to intercept at that point and try to get a turnover.
Now this is where the interesting play. Oh no, it isn't. Who was that? Number 20.
James Penny doing the right thing though, coming out when Johnny had lost his man and putting some pressure.
Oh, here's another one. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's another one for Steve Shields. Yeah. Again, long ball from the middle of the park, pushing it forward, and the Rangers were certainly in there. So that was Steve Shields' goal. I think we're about to get on to another goal by Steve Shields coming up.
Long ball.
Coming up, long ball.
Keeper comes out. The keeper does the right thing. Does Corey? He comes out. He's got no choice. It's one-on-one. You have to commit. And Stevie Shields being around a while, he knows how to bury those balls.
Not long after the restart, here we go. They were through. Dave Yates is ready to pounce, but no, he gets taken on the ball and gets a book in here. Rob Bevan, he knows it too. But he had to save it. And he comes stepping up. Dan, the man, just sent Penny the wrong way for a very good penalty shot there to give the Thunderhawks at least one goal.
Also, a consolation goal of sorts. Going to Deadly Dan.
So at that point, it was. It was 8.
That's another soft goal.
Oh, no, and here's another goal.
Yeah, a little bit soft.
For my liking. Well, that one was in the 41st minute. So it was a long play. The 28th minute was the penalty. Sorry, 38th minute of the second half. 28th minute, second half to the 41st.
A good save there by Corey. Near point blank range, managing to get some palms onto it just to send it over the crossbar.
Yeah.
The scoreline. It's such a massive. Well, it's a massive blowout. Really, there's no easy way to put it. But I think Corey's defenders did let him down a little bit. It was just the marking that really let them down, as well as those turnovers. And the Rangers were just able to play the long, quick counter-attack, and the legs just made it.
Don't really want to overanalyze, because my team are meeting the Hawks, so if they play like this, it'd be nice. But I'm sure there's a perfect tackle by Bevan. So he's been playing the lines very closely, but that one he got right just at the last minute to take the ball off David Yates, and that was the last play of the game pretty much. Second half finished and the score was 12-1.
12-1.
Yeah, so there was there was 2 goals after the penalty. That was it. But the good thing about the Thunderhawks is now they're going to be watching this game and probably regroup, see how they play, because they did play well when they had the ball, and they just probably, what I believe is that they lack the patience to just let it happen. You don't have to all have to push up when you got control, particularly when you're meeting a quite strong defensive lineup like the Rangers. The table will look with Jetty Flat Rangers now on 3 wins from 3 starts. Hamilton Raiders now sitting on second with 2 wins from 3 starts. Marai Stingrays sitting on a single win, a loss and a draw.
Yeah.
Following that, Thunderhawks now with a win and 2 losses. Same with the Deakin Dragons, a win and 2 losses. With Warrnambool Lions on the bottom, but with 1 point after the draw in round 3, Simone.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, quickly, under 15 fixture this week, round 2, it's the reverse home and away. This time, Warrnambool come to meet the Marai Stingrays here at Harris Street Reserve. And Jetty Flat Rangers under 15s travel to Hamilton to play the first under 15 match over there at Hamilton Alexandra College. In the senior draw, we have no twilight matches this week, with Marai Stingrays hosting Thunderpoint Hawks at 1 o'clock here, followed by Warrnambool Crickets versus Deakin Dragons. And then Hamilton at home hosting Jetty Flat Rangers. Top 2 teams hitting off against each other. That looks like is the match of the round. We're not going to be having any footage from that game. We're going to take a rest from footage for the next round. We might come up with just the results, maybe a lineup. But we'll be back for round 5. The rep will be back for round 5 to discuss the goings-ons of those 2 matches.
Yep.
And we'll have that'll be the end of phase 1 of the league. So everyone will have played each other at least once in the senior, so it's a perfect sort of review of the season at that point. But Simon, YouTube, we're on YouTube, we're on the...
We've gone global, Carlos.
We've gone global.
We've gone global. We've
Yeah.
had views from England. I'm wearing a bit of England to show some respect. We've had some views from the United States, Thailand, Hungary.
Okay.
As well. So
excellent.
It's gone global.
I think there's a few Turkish people that have been seeing it as well. So now, especially since we're going to have some of the juniors around, footage for you when we're back again. Spread the word around. WDSL, the wrap is where you can watch your local footy and get your results. In saying that, cheerio from Carlos.
And Simon. Website on the bottom. Check it out.
Cheers.
Spread the word.
Let's do it.